Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sustainability Literacy, the role of educators. I'm Kehkashan Basu. I'm really excited to speak to you about this topic that is very, very close to my heart. Just before I begin, I would like to inform you that this is a shortened session due to the sudden time shift, and I will be ending the session at 3:45 ET sharp. But in the meantime, in the half an hour that we do have, I am really happy to speak to you about this very, very important topic, really, and something that is very relevant to our times, given that we are living in very unprecedented times where the word crises it's really become the norm, and we are seeing a world that is filled with pandemics, it's filled with natural disasters, with social injustices, economic instabilities, and every single day brings about new challenges. And it's really coming to us from these three main ends, from the side of the environment, from the side of the economy, and from the side of society. Now, it's absolutely crucial that when we work to address all of these challenges, education, of course, plays a very, very big role in that. And that is why it is so critical that this transformation of education occurs, where sustainability literacy actually becomes the norm, and every single child, every single student, every single person is able to use the sustainability literacy to become a global citizen, an empathetic, responsible global citizen, learning that it's not someone else's problem to solve, but something that we, as these global citizens, can work on to achieve a more sustainable world. And that is really the mission of my organization, Green Hope Foundation. So, we are a global social innovation enterprise. We work across 26 countries with over 300,000 people. And our work is really ensuring that we are able to create these global citizens and a world where no one is left behind. So, why do we focus on sustainability literacy? We have seen how Education for Sustainable Development provides students with this empathetic lens that enables them to view their current challenges, as all the challenges around the world, is one's own. So, really thinking globally and acting locally, but also thinking locally in the sense that they're able to understand what local challenges face them every single day. And global citizenship plays a very, very big part of sustainability literacy. So I already spoke about the fact that we are in the midst of many, many, many different existential crises. So it's absolutely crucial that these are incorporated into the curriculum so that through sustainability literacy, these children and the students, no matter what age they are be able to become these empathetic, responsible global citizens. And there are several ways that we can do that. One such amazing tool is outdoor learning, particularly when we're speaking about environmental sustainability, learning about their planet firsthand with first ground level experiences, to creative education in the form of anything from art, music, dance, drama, to sport and eco fashion, particularly given that these are very heavy topics to deal with. So this creative learning really helps in the long run. But ultimately, this is about intersectionality. And I say this because when we're speaking about being a global citizen and when we're talking about sustainability literacy, it's important to understand that sustainable development consists of three pillars: the economy, the society, and the environment. And once we're able to address all of these interconnected and intersectional challenges, we will be able to teach our students that sustainability is something that's not just you learn about outside of school, or it's something that's separate from all their subjects. It's something that each and every one of us can work towards in our own spheres of influence. And as educators, then you have a very big role to play in ensuring that this idea is instilled in them from a very, very young age. So I will quickly take you through some of the ground level actions that we at Green Hope Foundation have taken as a result of sustainability literacy and how successful that has been. So I'll take you through the three modules of different kinds of sustainability. So I'll begin with environmental sustainability. So the first thing that I'll speak about is biodiversity conservation, where we educate children all across the world about the importance of protecting their local biodiversity. So this right here is turtle conservation, sea turtle conservation in Oman and in Suriname. And this right here is freshwater turtle conservation in Canada, in Ontario, actually, where we work towards ensuring that all of these children are aware about the threats that face their local biodiversity and what they can do to mitigate those challenges. Similarly, here in Toronto, we take on our outdoor field trips, we take the students to the ravines of Toronto to educate them about their biodiversity. We work extensively on mangrove conservation all around the world, teaching children about their role in carbon sequestration and how they both directly and indirectly affect this very vulnerable species. We've planted over 25,000 mangroves in this regard and over 900,000 trees as well, particularly fruit trees, where through all of this learning, the children and the students are able to connect firsthand with nature and realize the environmental sustainability wing of sustainable development. This brings me to our second pillar, which is social sustainability. Now, of course, it's very interconnected with environmental sustainability as well, but we focus more on the societal aspect here. So, for example, we have the concept of a solar powered mobile library that takes books to the doorstep of out of school children across the world, from Bangladesh to India to Liberia. And we also provide computer literacy and STEM education to children who are out of school in vulnerable rural areas. We've installed solar streetlights in rural communities that do not have access to electricity, particularly to provide safe spaces for the women and girls to come out of their houses at night. We have sustainable irrigation systems, as well as distributing solar cookers, once again, to vulnerable communities globally for good health and well being, as well as for sustainable agricultural practices. All of it is led by the young students we work with. We have built toilets and deep bore tube wells for marginalized women. This right here is in Bangladesh. We once again work on ensuring that young women farmers are empowered in sustainable farming as well as sustainable fisheries. And we work on good health and well-being, where we educate women and girls on their health and rights so that they're able to have proper access to clean water and sanitation. Which brings me to my next module of economic sustainability. Now, again, all of this is very much connected, because when you have a stable and healthy environment and you have a peaceful and healthy society, you're able to have economic sustainability as well. So how do we do this? One of the ways we work towards economic sustainability is through responsible consumption and production, through waste segregation and upcycling and recycling as well, to make sure that we're moving from a more linear supply chain to a more circular bioeconomy. We work on a grow your own food campaign for food security. And that's something that we've actually seen as extremely beneficial to all of the students that we work with, because by using sustainable food systems to create a local circular bioeconomy, we are able to see how that gives back to the society and the environment as well, which in turn ensures sustainable development as a whole. The other thing that we work towards, of course, is peace, because we realize that peace has often been left out of the sustainability discussion, because when we speak about sustainability, it's often just focused on the environment. But again, by having a healthy environment, society, and economy, you're able to achieve a peaceful environment, society, and economy as well, which of course is led by the creation of global citizens within our classrooms starting small. So these are just some of the examples that we at Green Hope Foundation have seen through our ground level actions, and how through sustainability literacy we're able to provide children and young people all across the world with the tools to bring about change in their spheres of influence. And some of the tools that we use here are, we work with carbon footprint calculators, where we have partnered with the Toronto District School Board, with internationally as well with Dubai's Education Board, with Suriname's Youth Parliament, where through this carbon footprint calculator, the children are able to know exactly what their carbon footprint is and what they can do to offset it. Now, when we speak about carbon offsetting, honestly, it gets a very bad reputation because some people just use it as an excuse. But what we see it as is a way to ensure that children know that sometimes it is impossible to not do something because it is just something that's very, very necessary to their daily lives. But that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It means that you are just able to take an action that is able to offset that carbon footprint, and slowly and steadily you're able to work towards a net zero lifestyle within your sphere of influence. And we see this successfully implemented with all of the students we work with, really, which is very heartening to see. So one such example I will give of a truly sustainable practice that's done through carbon offsetting through clean energy. So we have a solar grid in rural Bangladesh that provides the following: with the solar streetlights, solar powered farm irrigation, electrification for schools, the solar powered mobile library. So that is equivalent to offsetting more than 4 million kilograms of carbon dioxide, and that's equivalent to planting 76,142 trees. So in this way, we are able to benefit not only the environment, but the society as well. And once again, we're able to benefit the economy in that sense as well. So at the end of the day, we see that all of these tools are very, very helpful depending on situations. So for example, we have a water footprint calculator as well, which we see is very popular amongst the students we work with. And finally, we work towards empathy and global citizenship. Because as I mentioned right at the beginning of my presentation, we are facing all of these crises right now. And it's so, so important that students and our younger generations are able to understand that just because something is not affecting them directly, it doesn't mean that it's not important. It is important. And that is what global citizenship is all about. And that is where empathy comes in as well. It's not about teaching your students to show sympathy for others. It's about that empathy where every single person is able to realize that as citizens of this planet, it is all of our responsibility to go out there and act. And sure, it's not an easy path to take because, again, there are challenges on top of challenges. But we have seen the ingenuity of young people and how they are really able to bring about change, especially when this sustainability literacy is instilled in them by educators from a very, very young age. And it just shows how important and how successful that can be. So here we want to be able to create a world where no one's left behind, where every single person is able to have a stable source of income, live in a peaceful and in a sustainable society. And we are really able to ensure a life of dignity for all. And just to conclude very quickly as well, we are really moving towards a world where there are a lot of unknowns. And it's really important for us and for you really as educators to tell your students that working towards a sustainable world, it's not a sacrifice. It's all about taking those small steps as we move together towards the unknown. And what students do need to know is that sustainable living is all about maintaining a high standard of living while at the same time ensuring a high standard for people and planet. And again, it's all about that empathy. We have seen children learn about sustainable development as a separate topic, or often really not at all. But that shouldn't be the case. And today's modules describing all of these different instances of environmental, social, and economic sustainability is a great way to move past this notion. So the main thing to do is ensure that the children in this way and the students have hope. It's very easy when teaching about sustainable development and all of our world's challenges that it becomes all about doom and gloom. But these three pillars really provide the students with solutions. So our young people cannot think that just by going out striking and protesting or throwing some harsh words at politicians, then coming back home that they're working to mitigate climate change or trying to achieve a sustainable world. That's not solving the problem. When we speak about sustainability literacy and intersectional sustainability literacy that enables them to implement concrete solutions to work towards a sustainable world that will create a sustainable world, that is what sustainability is all about, working on all of these areas of influence. So you as educators in that sense have a huge responsibility to give them the knowledge and thereby really the power to take action, and of course to have that hope, but also turn that hope into a reality, inspiring them to dare to dream, but turning that dream into a reality as well. And with that power to take action together, we can ensure a more sustainable, healthy world and achieve the future we want. And that is exactly what we have seen at Green Hope Foundation. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much. We have about 13 minutes for questions. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. And if you have any queries, please don't hesitate to ask me. There's a Q&A box, and if you have any questions, you can type it there. Okay, so I see one question, which is that which pillar often is the one that's most left out of sustainability discussions? Okay. Yeah, so that's a very good question, because what we have often seen is that it really depends. What social sustainability and economic sustainability are most often left out, and economic sustainability, honestly, is often misinterpreted as being just about profit and more profit and having a stable market economy. But the social and environmental sides then are really ignored. Surprisingly, what we have also seen is that social sustainability often gets ignored as well, which is very surprising given the fact that we need a healthy society to be able to create a sustainable economy and have a sustainable environment. What we've also seen is that with this missing out on social sustainability, uh, we often miss out on how social sustainability links environmental and economic sustainability as well, which is why it's so important that all of these three pillars work and grow together in harmony so that we really are able to create that more sustainable world. And this education, once again, is very, very important for students. And this is where you as educators come in, because this learning is something that's not propagated to many people from a young age, which does pose a problem, given that without this knowledge, a lot of a lot of people really are unable to grasp just how interconnected the economy, society, and the environment are. So that is why, that's something that's missed out on, and that is why you as educators do have that very big role to play. So I hope that answers your question. Cool. All right. I see that we have another question. Okay. How important is digital literacy and sustainability literacy? Okay, yeah, that's a really good question as well. So, digital literacy does play a very important role. I'll give an example of the work that we do at Green Hope Foundation. So, I mentioned earlier we have computer literacy programs. So, one of them is in Liberia, where we have seen that by providing digital literacy to the students, and especially the girls, we have been able to see a tremendous increase in social sustainability there, because by using the digital literacy to get good jobs and to uplift their community out of poverty, we are seeing the creation of really implementation of sustainable development there. Another example is the solar powered computer lab that we have in Western India for STEM education. And that again is particularly for the girls, providing them with that access to technology, something that they never had access to before. And one of the main areas of sustainable development, again, that gets missed out a lot on is how prominent the digital divide is right now, that we are connecting today online, that we are able to connect from literally all across our country and the world as well. But there are a lot of people who don't have that luxury. And one of the main areas of work on the sustainable development spectrum right now is working to bridge the gap of the digital divide, really. So that's something, again, that students should definitely learn about when we're speaking about sustainability, because it's critical that they know that this divide exists and what they can do in their spheres of influence to address that. So that's, I hope that answers your question. Uh, yeah. Okay, we have maybe time for one or two more questions. Let's see. Okay. Do you find that partnering with school boards helps to implement sustainability literacy in schools? All right. Yeah. So, yes, we do find that partnering with school boards helps. We work with schools both in formal and non-formal ways all across the world, but we definitely have seen that by partnering with school boards such as the Toronto District School Board. We work with school boards across Canada as well. We really see that we're able to achieve greater impact because we're able to implement the sustainability literacy as something as a core subject. And slowly and steadily, we are working to expand that. As I mentioned earlier, we're also partnered with school boards across the world. And yes, it is definitely beneficial when it's not just the students who are getting educated, but also the educators, those who are parts of the school boards, the administrators. So, really, everyone is able to get that learning, that sustainability literacy that empowers them to be global citizens working more locally. So, yeah, it's definitely very helpful. Cool. Um, okay, then I think we have time for one more question. So we have 6 minutes. Okay. What is the greatest challenge you have seen when working on sustainability literacy with students? Okay, yeah. I mean, there are lot of challenges that I would say are there. The most prevalent one is, I think, the mindset that's there. Particularly, we see this when working with slightly older students, because once again, if you have something that is reiterated to you from a very young age about either sustainability or the planet or the society, it can be hard to come out of that mindset. And that's something that we have seen, unfortunately, in some of the students that we work with, the older ones. So I'd say that's the most challenging aspect. Sometimes they hear their parents talk about it, or they see fake news, and then they're able, they get easily influenced by that. So that is why the sustainability literacy is very, very important, because not only does it help them to become global citizens, it also helps to tackle the spread of misinformation, of uh, unnecessary alarmism that really, it doesn't really create a positive environment in any sense. So, yeah, I'd say that is really the biggest challenge. But otherwise, I'd say that, it's been like when we work with our younger students, particularly, I feel that they are a lot less inhibited in terms of what the possibilities are to help someone else or to help the planet. And we see that when we start with working with our students from a very, very young age, they're able to grow up and become leaders, or even become leaders when they're that small. And one such example is when we started Green Hope Foundation 10 years ago in 2012. A lot of the children who joined, they were around 12, 13, and they had siblings who were around 6 years old. And now, 10 years later, they're 16 and they're leading activities and projects in their communities, and they're inspiring other children to bring about that sustainable change in their communities. So we see firsthand just how important that is. And that is why it's so crucial that we work with sustainability literacy really all across the world. So, yeah, I think we have a little more time. Okay. So we have 3 minutes. So I don't think we have time for more questions. But yeah, just wanted to say that it has been lovely speaking to all of you. And I feel that, working towards sustainability literacy is something that each and every one of us can work towards, and you as educators to have a very, very important role to play in working towards this more sustainable future. So, yeah, once again, just like to thank you for being with us today. And yeah, if you do have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Contact at greenhopefoundation.com or visit our website, greenhopefoundation.com, and we'd be happy to get in touch with you and reach back out to you. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the conference and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.